What's up everyone? Welcome back to another video. My name is Anthony. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about the reason I went with the twin setup versus the single turbo setup on my 335. And I see the question a lot come up about whether or not you should go with twins or if you should go the single route. So I'll kind of go over the reasons why I went the route that I did. And talk a little bit about some of the pros and cons of both setups a little bit, and kind of give you some of those reasons. Now, the first thing you should consider when thinking about what you're going to do with your 335 is kind of assess where you're at with your car. Now, I know a lot of guys, when they get the 335, they go full bolt-on, intercooler, charge pipe, downpipes, inlets, outlets, and do some of that stuff. And those are things to consider when you're figuring out what route to go. I think one of the biggest things that's a contributing force to deciding what direction you should go really comes down to cost. And for me, when I was thinking about going the different setups, I actually went through a couple different phases. So the first one, I found a set of Hexon turbos, the RR600s that I was going to throw in my car, and I bought them for $1,000 and ended up reselling for $1,600 because I found an On3 single turbo kit locally that a guy was selling. So I was going to sell my turbos for a little bit more and then come up with the rest. Now the guy ended up not selling the turbo kit and rescinding his ad, so I was kind of left with no turbos at that point. So what I did is I had a warranty on my car, and the warranty did cover the turbos, but it needed to have been installed at a shop. So I called the warranty company, and they told me that if I were to purchase the turbos on my own, send them the receipt and let them know that I would do the install, well, they would just cover it. And I only had about maybe like $2,200 that they would cover for the turbos. Now obviously that wasn't enough to cover like an entire single turbo kit, so I was going to do the rest. But anyways, I ended up buying a set of brand new turbos and then ended up refunding them, and then I got the money back. And with that money, what I did is I actually ended up purchasing the JP Works single turbo kit. Now the single turbo kit, it's a good option for, depending on what you want to do. And JP Works at the time, this was like last year, no, it was actually like a year and a half ago. His wait time was anywhere from like 5 to 6 months. And so I didn't really want to wait that long. I waited for about 4 months until I finally gave up, and I had already requested a credit from him and then disputed that charge. And I ended up getting that money back, and that's kind of where I was kind of figuring out, like, what do I need, what do I do, what should I do? And I really wanted to go with a single kit because I really liked the idea of having a single turbo inline 6 again. And I wasn't really sure what type of power I wanted to make, but the more I got into it, the more money I spent and started going down the different routes. Now, one thing to consider when you are thinking about the single turbo kit is, power delivery. Do you want something low end and keeping it more like stock power, or you want something more high horsepower? And that's something that I kind of thought about too. I had a lot of parts that were already there, so the thing to consider is, you're going to have to buy additional parts if you do get the single turbo kit. There's going to be different relocations and things like that. So you're not going to be able to use your dual inlets that you have, outlets, downpipes, and those are some of the things. The charge pipe might not work because if you have to relocate the coolant reservoir and all that stuff, and the power steering, that might not work as well. So there's going to be things to consider depending on what you want to do. With the twin setups, I know a lot of people say that you might be running them pretty rough or hard, at 28 pounds of boost. I think it really depends on the setup that you have, and your fueling and your tuning, and a lot of variables. Which intercooler you're going with. And with the single kit, you know, here's the things that I've seen. A lot of the guys running singles are only pushing, you know, 500, 600, 650 because a lot of them don't have a lot of the supporting mods. But there are guys that are running high horsepower single turbo kit cars. And it seems like the twin setups kind of caps out at about 700, and that's really pushing them to the limit. But it really depends on what you want as far as power. The thing with the single kit is that you can always upgrade, you know, the turbo and get additional supporting modifications to it. But it really varies on what you're gonna do. And it comes down, I think the biggest factor that it comes down to is cost. You know, what you want to spend when you're doing your turbo setup. And for me, you know, I really just wanted the turbos to go in and have no extra cost. With the single turbo kit, obviously you have to get a different exhaust setup. You know, you have the single downpipe, so that's something that you need to fabricate with getting a custom exhaust, because obviously the other one won't fit unless you have a kit that, you know, supplies that. But overall, you know, I love the power delivery on the twins. I wouldn't change it any way, because I have the Vargas Stage 2 Pluses, and this is the first generation, the hybrid turbos, not the game changer, but they do really well. And I know that's a question that comes into play a lot, is the reliability of the twins. And you got MMPs that, you know, if you talk bad about them, they won't warranty your turbos. And Vargas doesn't warranty their turbos very well as well. Hexon is no longer on the market. You know, you got a couple new turbo setups coming into play. You know, Franken turbos new. The pure Stage 2s, you know, are really good turbos that have pretty good reliability. And you got the RB turbos, which don't. And Vargas is the same way. They don't have very good reliability or a good reputation for that matter. But they do make quality parts, and my turbos have done really well. Had them for maybe about 15 to 20,000 miles and no issues, and I've been running them at 28 pounds. With my turbo setup, you know, I didn't have to spend extra on the outlets or inlets, you know, because I already had them. So it really just depends on what you want to do, but those are kind of the reasons why I stuck with this twin setup, and why I will probably just continue sticking with the twin setup. You know, when you think about the cost of what the single kit is, you know, if you have a Doc race kit, you know, it's spendy, and then you got the motive kit, it's spendy as well. And then you also have the 80 engineering, which is spendy too. If you go with more of a budget single kit, you're looking at the JP Works, you're looking at the On 3. But some of those kits, you know, aren't as high quality as the others, so I think it's worth it to spend the money. And the wait time for the JP kit, obviously, you know, you're going to spend probably waiting a year, so that's not really worth it. Now with the twin setup, you know, there's the new one that's Vargas Stage 2 Game Changers. You obviously have the pure Stage 2s, and then the MMP Stage 3s. So, you know, there's a lot of different setups that you can consider. A lot of used turbos are coming on the market too. You can find some pre-owned that are in good shape, you know, with people that maybe got out of the 335 platform and decided to go to something else. So there's a lot of different things that you can look for when you're looking for a turbo kit. There's also used single turbo kits out there. You know, typically they go for about 4,000-ish. Depending on what it is. But other than that, you know, that's kind of the things to consider. My car made 620 wheel horsepower at 28 pounds of boost, and you know, I was running port injection, N54. I was running a custom exhaust with secondary cats. I was running the VRSF race intercooler, and you know, obviously I was running full bolt-on, and then a custom wedge performance flash. So those are some of the things that I was running the last time, or I'm still running. Now I am upgrading my fueling setup, so I'm still keeping the port injection. I'm adding another fuel pump, so I'm going to have 2 Walbro fuel pumps, and I'm running full E85, and then you know, I'm going to make sure I get an updated flash from my tuner, so that when I do dyno this weekend, you know, I can perform at the highest level possible and hopefully put down the best numbers that I can. After I do that, you know, I'll kind of reassess where I'm at and kind of go from there. But yeah, hopefully, you know, this video served you as a purpose as far as like maybe deciding what direction you want to go with, or which setup you should go with. For me, the Twins is what I decided to go with and what I'll stick with. But yeah, anyways guys, that's going to be it for me. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, drop a comment in the comment section below, and make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that notification tab for all my upcoming videos. You know, I'll be posting a bunch of videos in the coming weeks about the 335 and some of the things that I'm working on with that. I'll also be posting later on, maybe about a month, a new setup that I'm going with for the E36M3. Got some things in the work to really change the look, and it should make it look a lot different. But other than that guys, I am out, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.